Good evening and happy Wednesday to the Nexus Gaming series. We are right in the middle of those playoffs, and we have a good one for you tonight. Division C East semifinals winner advances to the Eastern Finals. We have the number 1 seeded Found Vikings. We have the number 4 seeded UARK Esports. Here's what they did in the regular season, for those of you who are curious. And here's what the brackets looked like so far. And of course, winner of this gets to go to the Coastal Finals, as I mentioned. And winner of that advances to the Division C Grand Finals, best of 5, to face off against the C West winner. We have both teams in lobby. We will be going to Volskaya Foundry. This is Found Vikings' choice of map as the higher seed. They get to choose whether they want first pick or map pick, and they have decided to go with map pick. So let's see how this matchup goes. These guys both had very good regular seasons. And let's go ahead. I'm going to pull up their record against one another during the regular season, so we see how that went. Let's see. Found Vikings. Found Vikings 2-0'd UARK Esports way back in week 4. So that's been a little while. I know UARK was really finished the season strong, so they're probably in a little bit of a better spot than they were week 4 of the regular season. But Found Vikings, they've been strong all season long. Have for the entire duration of season 6, they've been one of the top teams in Division C East. They really haven't peaked or valleyed. They've really been steady Eddie, top of the division. So definitely a force to be reckoned with on this in the C East bracket here. All right, so it looks like we're just giving UARK Esports here a second. I imagine we should be going any moment now. So let's talk about Volskaya Foundry, one of the newer maps to our Heroes of the Storm game. Plays a little bit differently than some of the others because of the items and the 2-seater objective, the Triglav Protector, which did get a little bit of changes in the most recent patch, so it'll play a little bit differently. And those items, the toys, the turrets, the biotic emitter, so powerful, so important. If you can have the item advantage when the objective spawns, it's really, really powerful. And this is one of the maps, in my opinion, where the early game is stronger than many others, because you can kind of use that advantage to get more items, prep the next objective, and if you win that first objective and play it clean, you can kind of use the first objective to win the second, and the second to win the third, and then usually the third one will win the game. That bottom one, sometimes it'll go back to the middle. It always goes mid, top, bot. But most of the time, that third objective, the bottom one, that's going to be the one that wins it. All right, guys. We have the R's from both teams. We are going to draft. Welcome to Volskaya Foundry. So, as I mentioned, this is Found Vikings' choice of map, which will leave first pick, first ban over to UARK Esports. And an instant Kael'thas ban, not going to see him. His AoE damage spread bombs on the objective can be very powerful. Quick Ana ban going the other way. Worth mentioning, Anduin is not not available for the NGS playoffs the entire duration, so don't need to worry about the newest hero until Season 7. Johanna banned out by UARK Esports, followed by Sylve. I really like the Sylve ban in particular. This draft is just flying along. First pick Diablo. For UARK, I was going to say I really like this Sylvanas ban by the Found Vikings. Teams are realizing how powerful she is as ETC and Alexstrasza coming out for the Found Vikings. How powerful she is on Volskaya Foundry due to the Merc Queen talent, which makes the turrets more powerful on the objective and allows you to burn the other team's turrets. Are we going to see a Zeratul Jaina? I was going to say that would be kind of old school, Diablo Zera Jaina. But instead, it's going to be Diablo Zeratul Blaze for UARK Esports, leaving their backline damage and supports to last, and Found Vikings thinking what I'm thinking, and they're going to get rid of the Jaina. Do not want to deal with that. Mephisto banned out by UARK Esports. One of the fun things about being this far into the season, the replays are readily available on the NGS website. Most of the games are either casted live or shortly after replayed casted. So there's not real good ways for these teams to hide. If you do your homework, you know what the other team likes. So in the playoffs, this late into the season, this deep into the playoffs, you almost are going to see more targeted bans than meta bans, simply because you know what the other team has shown. Tyrande Hanzo coming. I haven't seen a kind of carry Hanzo in a hot minute. But UARK, they have a lot of blow-up potential with the Hunter's Mark and the Arrow and the Blaze. Not a lot of spread damage, though, so they really want to lock in on a single target and blow them up. On the flip side, Raynor are going to be the carry with an Alarak. Alarak's one of those heroes that kind of feels all or nothing. When he is all, he is really oppressive and really impactful. And when he's struggling, it feels like he doesn't do a lot. I think a lot of this game is going to fall on Contender and how much of an impact he can impose himself onto the game with that Alarak. And of course, anytime there's a Leoric, if you get to level 20 with Buried Alive, that one talent completely changes the dynamic of how everything is played, because if you play it right and you land a Buried Alive on pretty much anybody, that hero should be dead. But here we go. Into game number 1. The blue team, the top-seeded Found Vikings. We have Cyan on Raynor, Dicky on Leoric, Contender on Alarak, PJ Tim on ETC, Sailor Sky on Alexstrasza, the Found Vikings. The red team, Z-Blaster on Zeratul, Pokemaster J on Hanzo, Blue Space Hat on Diablo, Jextaman on Blaze, and Dead Latin on Tyrande. We have UARK Esports. And unfortunately, for the Found Vikings, I don't like their chances because Dicky is playing Leoric incorrectly and not on the Janitor Leoric skin. So I think early advantage here to UARK Esports simply for the skin game. Nice job by Z-Blaster there to make sure he blinked out of that power slide. Not a whole lot happening right now. This is clear and rotate time. UARK Esports is definitely playing on the passive side. They are respecting Contender on that Alarak. They know if they overstep, the telekinesis and the silence can really set something up. So they're content to kind of let Found Vikings clear out these waves and then simply move on. So both sides rotate onto the camps at almost the identical time. Tyrande actually sent out an owl, so you can see both of these sides know where the other is at. And in the bottom lane, both Dicky and Jextaman at full health. So these guys really haven't been brawling out here, probably focusing on the wave, not so much each other. Having a gentleman's agreement, if you will, to simply clear the wave and then maybe wave at one another. Meanwhile, back in the mid lane, there is the setup I was talking about. You have to respect the Alarak telekinesis. They really put a hurting on Diablo there. Forced to go back to the mid fort, hit the tap, and it was ETC following up on the telekinesis. Globe sitting there. ETC wants his prog rock, and he does grab it. They also grab a Hanzo, but ETC was a little bit too far away to follow up on that time, and maybe good thing for Pokemaster J. So a little over 2 minutes. We're going to see this timer on the objective come in here momentarily. UARK Esports. UARK Esports is already on their Bruiser camp, and I imagine we'll see a mirrored move from Found Vikings coming back momentarily. But not so much yet. 20 seconds about. So we will have our first objective spawn. Zeratul is babysitting this siege camp. And Found Vikings, instead of getting the siege camp, they are prioritizing the biotic emitter. Sonic Arrow does scout it out. I think UARK is really too far away to do anything about it, and they are. So 2 toys for the side of Found Vikings, only 1 for UARK. And so the siege camp in the top lane will actually be ignored by the Found Vikings, nor will they capture theirs. Instead, they prioritize this objective. And with Alexstrasza, it really makes driving Found Vikings off this point an issue. When they get to that overtime spot where it's at 99 and the 2 sides are brawling over, Dicky going up by himself, the entire team is waiting for him, and Dicky goes down, and that's not going to be too big of a deal. Leor going to use that ghostly Drain Hope, and he will be back almost at the same time UARK gets here. I mean, 8 seconds on the death timer. Leoric will be up any moment now. ETC in trouble, though. Dragon Queen is popped. Leoric just spawning on the side. Healing and turret going down for Found Vikings. They are absolutely drawing a line in the sand. And despite the level 7 talent tier advantage, UARK Esports decides that they will simply get out of dodge, wait for Dragon Queen to expire, and re-engage. That's what they do. Turret is still here for Found Vikings. And also, turret now down for UARK Esports, so this one will last longer than the Found Vikings one. ETC really getting blown up and bullied. Lunar Flare goes down. Blaze and Diablo absolutely bodying him. However, the Alarak damage on the backside, that ends up being a 1-for-1 trade. ETC for Blaze, and the health bars here on UARK are much, much lower. Diablo falling. Zeratul forced to blink away for his life. Tyrande falling as well. A little bit of a misplay there by Dicky, giving away a free kill to the turret, but it will not matter as the first Rock'em Sock'em robot will go over to the Found Vikings. We saw Alarak really playing a big part in there. When you have to step into that Alarak on the point, if he can land that telekinesis silence combo, it's a lot of damage. And despite ETC falling to the lockdown and blow up of UARK Esports, Alarak on the other side of that really set up the teamfight victory and helped secure that objective for the Found Vikings. So all 5 members here for the Found Vikings. UARK is actually in the other lane getting more soak, so you can see they are slightly up. That's one of the changes to the Triglav Protector that we talked about, that they wanted to nerf that teamfight a little bit, as Diablo does get a hold of Alexstrasza, however, not able to put the damage on her as the rest of the team. Instead of that grabby hand on the Triglav Protector rooting a hero, it will actually drive him away. It's kind of like a Diet Coke version of the punt on the Dragon Knight. It just kind of pushes them further away. So no more will you see teams locking down somebody and then just obliterating them, hitting the hand and then the Q and all the gunner damage and whatever. And now if you hit them with that hand, they're going to be pushed back. And I think that's a good change, because that hand had a pretty long range, and getting locked down and just exploded with that thing was a very feels-bad moment, so I kind of like that change. So heroics are on board for UARK first, despite losing that first objective. They have been a little more diligent than the soak department. They are going to use that level 10 to secure the biotic emitter for themselves. We have Starfall, Apocalypse, Call Bunker. ETC is going in. They do not have 10s, though. The VP... Oh, but Diablo's caught in the APOC, so they really couldn't pair it up with it. But ETC gets ripped apart. Alarak falls shortly after that, trying to get the Rainer, I should say. Blaze coming in and targeting him as he stepped on the heel to try to get himself healed up there, and that's a 3-for-1 in favor of UARK Esports. Comboed that APOC with the VP nicely, despite the fact that Diablo was actually caught in the Void Prison as well. That is why, thank you for the host, John Chifin? That is why you really got to wait till 10 to step in there. UARK sensed an opportunity, took full advantage of it. Not only did they secure the Biotic emitter, also picked up 3 kills and about a full level lead as we start to move toward the second objective. And even though the first team fight objective went over to the Found Vikings, I feel like UARK has been a little bit more coordinated as far as managing the soak and even the Leoric Bush gank, taking advantage of their level 10s. So I really like where UARK is in this game despite losing that first objective. So both UARK and the Found Vikings will secure their siege camp. UARK being a little bit quicker, maybe that will allow them to get better positioning. But more importantly than the positioning is 13 Talent Tier is going to be here very soon for UARK Esports. And here it is. We haven't had a chance to go over the heroics for the Found Vikings, so let's take a moment to do that now. It is Lifebinder for Alex Straza, Stage Dive for ETC, so expect him to be in the off-lane soaking just a little bit. Hyperion, that Counter-Strike, yes it is, for Alarak, and Entomb for Leoric. Here we go, Found Vikings 13 be damned. They go to step in. Zablaster actually only hits 1. They do manage to lock down Leoric mostly, and they will not be able to burn him. Stage Dive lands directly onto Tehran. Power Slide into 2. Diablo and Tyrande are in trouble. UARK, unable to secure the kill on the Leoric, now find themselves on the retreat. Diablo is the first of all. Zeratul doing a nice job of bobbing and weaving in and out. However, Tyrande and Hanzo, they cannot stay. And real nice job by the Found Vikings. Leoric able to cancel that Wraith Walk and get himself out of trouble just in time. And once that happened, that was really a lot of cooldowns burned by UARK Esports to try to secure that Leoric. And it allowed a really solid re-engage coming out by the Found Vikings. Stage Dive onto the backside, ETC, PJ Tim catching 2 with the Power Slide to follow up on his own Stage Dive. And here comes the re-engage from UARK, and we will go one more time. Both teams sitting at about 75%. Zeratul harassing the backside. 2 caught in the Entomb, but Leoric is actually the one who's in trouble. Diablo and Leo both low. Neither one falls. Lifebinder onto Leoric to fill him up. Now Blaze is in trouble. Telekinesis into the middle of the Found Vikings team, and he goes down. Second Rock'em Sock'em robot of the game will go over to the Found Vikings. So it looks like they are going to prioritize setting up this next objective. Typically, that's what you're going to see teams do. They'll catch some waves, maybe get a wall, and as soon as I said that, I'm wrong. They're going to simply take this mid-fort for free while they're on their way down here. Zeratul going to harass the Alex Straza, but the gunner on the Triglav Protector really made Zablaster think about what he was doing there. There's that pushback on that hand, forcing Diablo back. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Rainer was just getting himself some free siege damage, padding those numbers a little bit, and taking down the front wall to set up the siege from the Triglav Protector. Hyperion and the Triglav is a very powerful sieging tool. The front wall goes down, the fountain goes down, the fort goes down. Zeratul does get pushed away and then rooted briefly. Blaze doing what he can in the top lane to maximize the soak, making sure UARK does not fall too far behind in the experience department, and he's not, as levels and experience is dead even for these teams. There's a 4-man VP with the APOC on top of it, as well as the Dragon Arrow, and that's going to be a fantastic engagement. However, Alex Straza able to use the life binder to keep herself up, not so much with ETC. He was held down for a long time. And then the conveyor belt letting Diablo get in on the Alexstrasza, not able to land the full combo. UARK harassing UARK Esports while his team retreated and then ghost walked to safety. Blaze, however, is scouting this out, and UARK is on their way here. They know they have a man advantage. Charge on the ETC with the Lunar Flare and the Hunter's Mark. Down goes UARK, and now they're invading this camp one more time. They may have stayed just a bit too long. Raynor in trouble. He falls. That is 2 kills traded out for the turret for the Found Vikings. They better get a lot of value out of the turret because they played a very high price to secure that. 9 kills to 5 for UARK Esports. It seems like they're saving kind of all of their best moments for in between these objectives because they just haven't been able to put the Found Vikings away during the objective itself. They're slightly behind on structures, although taking down this top fort will certainly help with that. So it's kind of been a game of 2 phases. On the objective, during the objective, the Found Vikings have been stronger. They've found their kills. They've played very well. But in these kind of in-between phases with the teams rotating around, UARK Esports has been stronger. They've caught Found Vikings more. They've secured more kills in the skirmishes and the phases between the objectives. So if they can kind of flip that script a little bit and find that success during the objective itself, UARK's going to be in a great spot. Unfortunately for them, though, the next objective will be in the bottom lane, where they have no fort and no fountain. And now Found Vikings stepping in. UARK is rotating up. Blaze is a little ways off, however, with the Hyperion and the Wave and the Mercenary camp, they are simply going to rip this fort down. And there is no contest coming out from UARK Esports. That is going to be occasional catapults in 3 lanes for Found Vikings. So UARK Esports is definitely going to want to keep an eye on these lanes, make sure these katas aren't pushing too hard, and probably use this siege camp to kind of offset that pressure in the top lane during the objective. So they really only have to worry about... actually, they will have pressure in the top lane as both teams have catapults spawning. It'll be mid and bottom where the push advantage will be over to the Found Vikings. Looks like the Found Vikings kind of recognize the threat of a free pushing top lane, and all of the members of the Found Vikings rotated to the top to clear out the camp and the kata. I imagine they will rotate down on top of that. Maybe they leave ETC here to get a little extra soak and have him stage dive in. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they kind of faked a hearth to see if they were going to go after the keep and then decided to invade. However, UARK's presence will drive them away and they will simply return to the objective where they will continue to pile up percentage points. Both teams, same talent tier. Both teams have all of their heroics minus Hyperion, which will be up in about 10 seconds. Both teams have 2 items, 2 turrets for Found Vikings, and a turret and a biotic emitter for the side of UARK Esports, and let's see how this goes. Drain Hope does land. There's the 2-man VP APOC on top of it. They do cancel it early, and that is the best wombo we have seen all game from UARK Esports. Alexstrasza and ETC absolutely deleted. Found Vikings forced to retreat. Alarak is bodied. Hanzo actually gets counter-killed by the Alarak. Drop the biotic emitter. Use that heal. Diablo finally puts it down. They do get the first objective of the game in a 2-for-1 trade. Alarak on Contender looked like he was dead to rights, but not only did he get out safely, he managed to get a cheeky little counter kill on that Hanzo. UARK Esports pushing in. That's the best execution, far and away, of the VP APOC combo that we've seen this game out of UARK. It was very clean, and Alexstrasza and ETC died very quickly. Contender forced to self-telekinesis, but Jackstaman actually gets 2 with his jet propulsion, max distance jet propulsion, and the little hand actually may have saved Raynor, who escapes less than 100 hit points, and then the money Entomb. Stage dive to keep Diablo here. He actually uses ETC to shadow charge himself to safety. I don't think it's going to matter. So a fantastic Entomb there by Dicky, securing kills on Zeratul and Diablo, who will be back shortly, but less 100 souls. And I think Found Vikings has their eyes set on this bottom turret camp. They do go ahead and invade, and are they eyeballing this? They're going to use the turret to tank this, and they're going to try to take a free keep. Now, UARK is all the way in the top lane, securing the biotic emitter, using that Rainer and the Hyperion, and what a great call by the Found Vikings, just coming down here and ripping a free keep with no contest whatsoever from UARK Esports. What a heads-up play by the Found Vikings, using that. They're using UARK's own turret against them. There was no wall down there, so they simply stepped up and massacred that keep, and that's a really big deal for Found Vikings. This is a really entertaining game, very back and forth. Despite the kill advantage over to UARK, it seems like the Found Vikings have gotten a little bit more timely kills. Also, as the invade coming down here, only 2 members by the Found Vikings as they are split. ETC stage dives in, and that was probably a mistake. He had no support, went down very quickly. UARK getting a kill on ETC and the turret, and let's see what they do with it. This has been one of the differences in this game, is the Found Vikings have simply been better about taking full advantage of their opportunities. So UARK has 40 seconds without ETC on the board. We really want to see them get value out of it, and this will do it. VP APOC catches 3. Dragon Arrow on top of it. Leoric goes down. Alexstrasza goes down. Buried alive as a dying breath may have kept that from being worse, but UARK Esports roaring back to life here, and I want to see them take this top keep. That has to be on the radar. 50 seconds with no healer and no Leo. They have to think keep at minimum. Minimum keep. But they're backing up. Oh, I think this is a mistake. I would have loved to have seen them drop those turrets and rip that keep. I mean, I know there's 3 katas over here, but oh my goodness. And now UARK is scattered. All of the members of the Found Vikings are here. Jet Propulsion does not hit. Hanzo and Diablo are on their way. However, Blaze and Tyrande are running for their lives. Alexstrasza not quite up yet. And if UARK gets here as 5, they will have the item advantage. They have more turrets. They have the biotic emitter. However, with the katas pushing, that is going to be advantage over the Found Vikings. So UARK Esports wants to decide this quickly. They don't want this to drag on forever. They are going to back up for a moment and secure another turret that will give them 3 turrets and a biotic emitter, which is a sizable advantage. And now they're going to, I guess, fill up and step in one more time. I guess they're thinking this is it. Let's full health, full mana. Let's step in with all of our cards here. However, Leoric is sitting there for a big buried alive. Oh, it's there, Leo. It's there, Leo. They don't know that he is here. He's waiting for a huge buried alive. And let's see if it happens. First turret goes down. There goes Leo. He catches the tanks. Probably not the targets you wanted, as Leoric is getting absolutely chunked. Stage dive goes down. Only catches Diablo. And there is the APOC, but unfortunately Diablo is inside it, so no APOC to follow up on the VP. And Found Vikings is turning this around in what is a very scattered engagement. Jet Propulsion does not hit anybody, but Diablo able to flip that around. Dragon Queen is getting so much value. However, 3 members of the Found Vikings are down anyway, and that is a 3-for-1 in favor of UARK, and what was a very scattered engagement. Leoric did hit 2 with the Entomb, the Buried Alive, but not the 2 that you wanted. You really wanted to get like Zeratul, Tyrande in there, and they really just burned that Leoric down. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Hanzo is going to have to respond to this. I still don't think Found Vikings can do anything. without Hanzo being there. It's a 2-on-3. Now a 3-on-3, and Zeratul will be up. But there's a huge Buried Alive holding them in there with Alarak coming in. However, Blaze and Diablo still up, and now reinforcements have arrived from UARK Esports. Diablo is very low. Both sides are going to be at 99% in one moment. Numbers favoring UARK, but health bars favoring Found Vikings. A very interesting situation, and Blaze goes down. Dragon Arrow to counter-engage, driving Found Vikings off. Zeratul harassing ETC. They only need a few seconds to secure it, and they do, despite Blaze going down. A Dragon Arrow and the blinking Zeratul able to zone out the members of Found Vikings. Now, this is a 22-minute Triglav Protector. This thing hits like a freight train. So let's see how much damage they're able to get done with this. Down a man, but with the objective, all 5 members of the Found Vikings up. Now, with Diablo in this Triglav Protector and Blaze not alive, you can see Hanzo and Zera playing very, very cautious because there are basically no peels. And that Triglav Protector was absolutely melted. Found Vikings, they smell blood in the water. They have Buried Alive. A nice VP to try to buy his teammates some time. And there's the APOC, only catches 2. Dragon Arrow on top of it surgically eliminates Raynor. But the Buried Alive counter engagement takes down Diablo, takes down Zeratul. And they take down a static Triglav Protector, and now we'll finish off Tyrande. That might be game. Still 3 members from UARK to try to defend this. So a 4-on-3. And with their best sieging damage hero and Raynor down, this might not be as over as it looks like. These 4 heroes do not have great siege damage, and I think Found Vikings may be recognizing that. Instead, they're going to go ahead, grab the turrets, maybe posture for mid-keep, which is pretty low. Trying to catch somebody on the flank here, waiting for the big Buried Alive. There it is. Diablo has no soul, so he gets melted. Down goes Diablo. I mentioned it after the draft. Buried Alive is so good. Post 20 UARK is an absolute monster. Second keep going down for UARK Esports. Dragon Arrow does not accomplish too much. Still not trying to end is the Found Vikings, or are they? Now, Raynor is here this time. For now, it's a 4-on-4 using the turret to tank the core. Zera sharking around for something. Alex Draza uses Dragon Queen and then gets wing buffeted away. Zera was looking for the VP there. Now he's looking again. And there it is, catching 2. But there is no Diablo, so this is just used as a defensive tool. I kind of would have liked him to catch the core in that VP at the same time. That would have left Found Vikings with nothing to shoot at. But this is going to be a very entertaining game 1, ultimately going over to the Found Vikings. And I think UARK had some opportunities there, but just wasn't quite able to capitalize on the chances. I said they're winning in the kill department, 18-15. Their team fight was there, but the decision to take that bottom keep for free really loomed large by Found Vikings, and they really took advantage of the opportunities they were given in a way that UARK Esports just didn't quite. So game 2, it will be up to UARK if they're going to take map pick or first pick. So hang tight for about a minute, and we will be back with Game 2, Division E semifinals between the Found Vikings and UARK Esports. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for Game 2, where we will be going to Alterac Pass, the newest battleground in Heroes of the Storm. And this was the map choice of UARK Esports, choosing map instead of first pick. First pick will go over to the Found Vikings. Alterac Pass has some different dynamics relative to other maps. For one, the core, in this case the general for each side, will heal back to 100% if you don't kill it. Not only that, it actually gets progressively weaker for each keep that you take down. So most teams you're going to see trying to get 2 keeps down before they make that core call, because if you're going to make that core call with only one of those keeps down, you better be sure you're going to kill it. Otherwise, you could put yourself in a real rough spot. So Found Vikings. First pick, first ban. I love second game in particular, first ban Sylvanas. I like to watch the adjustments that these teams make based on the Game 1 performances. Like, which hero warranted that ban? And in Game 1, I think it was Alarak. I would be surprised if you don't see an Alarak ban coming out by UARK Esports. Alterac is kind of, as they do ban Diablo, Alterac Pass is kind of similar to Volskaya in that you have these objectives that bring both teams over, and you have usually a kind of drawn-out long battle similar to the kind you see on Volskaya Foundry. So just like Alarak had value in Game 1 for that reason, I think if Found Vikings wanted to go down that road again, they could get value out of him again. And instead of Alarak, it's going to be Anna and Johanna banned out. And Game 1, UARK first banned Kael'thas, and maybe this is why. Found Vikings first picking Kael'thas. The response from UARK Esports is Alexstrasza and Nubarek. I think Nubarek is maybe top tank right now, but I'm a little surprised to see the prioritization from both of these teams on Alexstrasza in Games 1 and Games 2. I haven't seen her prioritize that highly at all this season. She's kind of fallen into a little bit of a niche support. But Game 1 and Game 2, here she is, front and center, very prevalent. And PJ Tim going to be on that ETC one more time wearing those blue leopard skin pants, and Admiral Stukov making an appearance as well. So supports are out of the way. We're going to see some kind of... There's the Alarak ban. I love that. I'm surprised they didn't do it in the first round of bans, but let it through one more time, I think could have been a mistake. UARK Esports banning out the Alarak. And let's see who Found Vikings want to take off the board. And they opt to get rid of the Zeratul. Zeratul was certainly impactful, and now I think he would be a little bit less so without the Diablo follow-up that they had Game 1, but they could go with a Jaina. You could have gone a Zera Jaina if they wanted to go. Oh, my mistake. I'm so sorry. I'm a terrible drafter, a terrible caster. And instead, going very spicy, as we're going to get Greymane and Maiev. So what is the response from the Found Vikings? Maiev is similar to Alarak in that it can feel all or nothing. When Maiev is played well and impactful, she is really impactful, very strong. But if the other team responds properly, not quite as so. So Found Viking is really not going too far off of a very standard draft, opting to go with Blaze, maybe thinking the Bunker to help counteract the Maiev, and Raynor. So very standard draft from the Found Vikings. And UARK responding with the Dahaka. So once again, only one backline assassin for UARK, and Greymane isn't even a full backline assassin. He's like a half backline assassin. So I really want UARK to be careful of those living bombs. Also a big lurking arm. Found Vikings really have a lot of different tools to punish UARK if they clump too much. between Kael'thas, Blaze, ETC, and Stukov. So UARK really needs to mind their positioning. And with the Maiev, not only do they need to mind their positioning, they need to pick a target and blow it up. Drag, double stun out of the Anub, the lockdown from the Maiev, and the burst kill potential from the Greymane. Alright, game number 2. Cyan on Kael'thas, Contender on Raynor, PJ Tim on ETC, Dicky on Blaze, Sailor Sky, the team captain, on Stukov. This is the Found Vikings. The red team featuring Jackstaman on Dahaka, Blaster on Maiev, Dead Latin on Alexstrasza, Blue Space Hat on Anubarak, Pokemaster J on Greymane. This is UARK Esports. So Dahaka already not here. UARK Esports opting not to participate in the ceremonial mid lane 5-on-5. Greymane is already rotating away to the bottom. To your lane assignments with you, UARK Esports not participating here. Worth noting, from Blaze, we do have the Unstoppable questing talent at 1. New habits, I believe that's what it is. Yeah. Is that right? Yep. And not that we will see combustion, but if you are going to see combustion, it is best to pair it with that level 1 talent, so you proc the Unstoppable, and then your channel can't be interrupted on your heroic. So worth keeping an eye on it for Blaze. Both teams immediately, quickly rotating on to the mid lane bruiser camp. And you can see at high prioritization, and this is pretty textbook from both sides actually. If you capture this first camp quickly, like as soon as it spawns quickly, you can capture it again immediately as the objective spawns or very shortly thereafter. It allows you to pile up a little bit of extra experience, and unlike most maps, mid lane has a lot of value on Alterac Pass. It allows you to contest both top and bottom objectives from your own fort, and also the minions, or the camps rather, that push down the mid lane are very powerful. Probably more powerful than the weak sauce bosses featured in the top and bottom lanes. So about 2 minutes into the game, we'll see camps timers spawning momentarily. Not too much going on in these other lanes. Greymane and Raynor gentlemanly clearing out the lanes. The only action here is really in the mid lane where it's 3-on-3, and since neither one of these sides really wants anything of the other than maybe battling over that globe for the questing talents. And this is what I was talking about. Objective up in 20 seconds. Their camp is up in 6 seconds. Their camp is up in 12. Both sides will be able to immediately rotate on to the mid lane camp, and you can see that's exactly what they're doing. UARK Esports a little bit faster. I'm not sure. Are they trying to catch Greymane down here? Or... interesting positioning here by the Found Vikings. Are they just going to ignore the objective and use Raynor and Kael'thas to do siege damage? That's certainly what it looks like. They'll be giving up a lane of soak and a merc push and the objective mid. And Greymane is going to be decent anti-siege from behind his wall. He really chunked out that ETC. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, UARK Esports, they realized what was going on. Not only do they get the objective, but they push in with the mercs, and that is just the right answer. You don't rotate down there, you push yourself. Not sure how this call by Found Vikings is going to work out. They end up getting about half of a fort and the wall. Okay, it's going to be a full fort on the wall, but Blaze falls in the mid lane, And they're just going to lose the objective and the mid fort as well. So they trade forts out 1 for 1. They fall about a half level behind and lose the objective. And they're not actually even able to finish that fort there. A very interesting macro call from the Found Vikings. I wonder if they were not interested in team fighting into a Maiev. Maybe they wanted 10 first. That's something I can see. The Anubarak Maiev Dahaka lockdown would certainly be a problem. So maybe if maybe the Found Vikings here just deciding to play for 10, which, you know, could be a sensible strategic decision. Anubarak going very deep. Maiev diving in with him. ETC doing his best to hold him there, but the Umbral pushing ETC away, and Found Vikings forced to retreat against the power of the objective and the Dragon Queen. So 2 forts already destroyed by UARK Esports, and able to hang on to their bottom fort is sitting at 507 health. All things considered, though, Found Viking is not in too bad of a spot. Both sides immediately, once again, on to the siege camps. Dahaka doing his best to soak in the top lane. We saw this actually game 1 as well. UARK is a little bit, it seems like, more aware of making sure they're covering all the lanes as far as soaking goes. And now it looks like both sides are mirroring each other. Bottom boss over to Found Vikings. Top boss will go over to UARK Esports. I think this will favor UARK a little bit more as they're on the verge of heroics. They have a free lane to push down, although bottom lane is pretty free for Found Vikings too. But maybe most importantly, they have a global in Dahaka. Dahaka can kind of stay up in this top lane with the bosses, which really aren't that strong, push with it, and then Hearth or simply brush talk to wherever he needs to go. And you can see UARK Esports, they kind of know how weak this boss is. They're not even going to respond to bottom. Using their level 10s, Lifebinder, Go Through the Throat, Cocoon, that isolation it is, and Containment Disc. So not Warden's Cage, it's actually going to be Containment Disc. UARK Esports hitting 10s, and we'll have this for a fair amount. They're going to push in with the boss. They have their eyes on Keep maybe looking for a kill and then Keep, as Living Bomb getting a lot of value. And that's one of the disadvantages to picking Alexstrasza into Kael'thas. But here we go. Umbralbind onto Stukov. Sailor Sky in a tough spot. Down he goes. Cocoon onto Blaze. Everyone doing their best to burn him out of there. However, only 1 kill secured. And level 10's now here for the Found Vikings. It's going to be Flailing Swipe, Hyperion. Everyone else being very cagey. And it is going to be Combustion with Stage Dive, ladies and gentlemen. That is a lot of slows to proc Ace in the Hole for Raynor, though. Kael'thas, however, has not shown. Is this possibly going to be Pyroblast? No, it is going to be Phoenix. Same talent tier for both sides. We do have the Mercenaries pushing down the mid. Blaze kind of waiting in the wings for a big flank with Combustion. Now, I don't know if you want to pull him in there with there's the Stage Dive, there's the Combustion, and they hit both. Dead Latin is gone. The Containment Disc does come out, but a big moment for Found Vikings. Really nice synergy there from Dicky and PJ Tim. Poor Alexstrasza just had no shot. And the second objective, at least for now, going over to UARK Esports. Alexstrasza has spawned. She is on her way down there. Gonna be a little late. However, everybody on board now. UARK is posturing. They have about 8 seconds to get the channel here. Not able to do it quite yet. Dragon Queen is interrupted. Fantastic play. The silence keeps the objective going. 1.4 seconds left. and Dead Latin able to stop the objective, but the health bars on UARK are very low. Anubarak and Rainer in particular, a big healing circle there from Alexstrasza will help alleviate that issue. But Found Vikings simply step back, gonna soak. But level 13 talent advantage is very close for UARK Esports. Maybe UARK is going to go get their Merc, secure 13, and then step onto the objective. That's kind of what I would be eyeballing. They do see Rainer here sort of by himself now joining his team. The rest of the members of Found Vikings going to go ahead and grab a pretty sizable wave here. But instead, UARK going to use 13 talent advantage to secure the objective. And it looks like Found Vikings, they're just going to try to backdoor this. You can channel both at the same time. Maiev is pretty far away. They do get Greymane isolated out. Concussion and Stage Dive both hit multiple members. Flailing Swipe splits up UARK. A very scattered engagement, but UARK is on the back foot for right now. Dragon Queen has expired. Jet Propulsion only hits one. However, a huge Lurking Arm doing a lot of work there. Despite all of that, it's actually PJ Tim that goes down first. And Nubarak very low. Contender able to secure the counter kill. And now Dahaka forced to retreat due to low life. Both teams trading out 1 for 1. A little more value out of the mercenary camps from the Found Vikings, though. UARK will rotate up and secure it. And now Found Vikings trying to cheekily channel this. I don't think they're going to be able to. Blaze is not here. This may have been a mistake. Maiev trying to get somebody, anybody, and they do. Stukov is tongued and absolutely laid into, but they can't finish the job. Alexstrasza, though, does fall to the Phoenix. Found Vikings finding their footing just a little bit. And now, finally, these last 1.4 seconds of the jailbreak will be secured. Top lane, though, is going to get some keep damage here. Maybe even the keep itself. This thing is falling pretty fast. Will the objective save it? It's going to be close. I don't think it will. Will Blay ETC doesn't have it. Will he not save it? Oh my goodness. And ETC and the objective combined to keep that keep at 700 hit points. Meanwhile, bottom lane, everybody but ETC is here. Stage Dive is not up for a long time, but Combustion got a lot of value. Alexstrasza forced to use Lifebinder on herself. Found Vikings stepping in very hard. Fan of Knives got double resets. They're really forcing Found Vikings back. Neither side losing any members, but UARK Esports will lose the first keep of the game, and Found Vikings is looking for more, fighting under their own general. Found Vikings might have overstepped here. I think they sensed that as well, and they have summoned the retreat. So first keep over to Found Vikings, despite that top keep being so low. Nice rotation by the Found Vikings to pick up a free fort. UARK Esports, kind of similar to last game, actually slightly up in XP despite being down structurally. And now look at this. Found Vikings, yeah, we'll go take this one too. Or to the boss, possibly. So both teams look like they're rotating to the bosses. Bottom one secured again by UARK Esports. Top one. Actually, they've traded. Last time it was UARK at the top and Found Vikings at the bottom. They have decided to swap bosses for this trade. So top boss picked up by the Found Vikings. Shortly after, bottom boss picked up by UARK Esports. Both of these bosses are going to be pushing into pretty healthy defenses. What that will do in the top lane for the Found Vikings, though, is that boss is going to de-push this lane a lot. and really going to take a lot of pressure off of that top keep. So top fort will fall. Bottom fort may also fall, or not. I don't think so. I think they're going to burn this one down in time. Not if they leave it. So bottom fort falling for the Found Vikings. Top fort falling for UARK Esports. Both sides securing their mid lane siege giants, and UARK immediately onto the objective, and they will get first channel in what has been a very close game, and pretty clean too. Only 6 combined deaths up to this point, 14 minutes into the game. Here comes Dragon Queen right into a Phoenix. Contender is channeling the objective. The Gilnane cocktail interrupts it. Maiev threatening the backside, but actually gets rooted in the lurking arm. The Impale by Nubrak interrupts ETC's power slide. Dead Latin going really deep with that Dragon Queen. Both sides fairly low, but neither side able to pull the kill. Isolation does land onto Blaze, as does the Tongue, and he might be in trouble. He is. ETC gets stunned out by the Anub, but the Hyperion and the Living Bomb really breaks up that engagement from UARK. And Found Vikings not quite done yet. Living Bomb and the Flame Strike from Kael'thas kind of stalling out the objective. 30 seconds though. Found Vikings will likely have one more crack at this once Blaze is up. Oh, and they're not waiting for Blaze. There's the stage dive. They do isolate out Greymane. Down he goes. Nice play by PJ Tim. Blaze has just spawned and is on his way. And what has been largely the story of this series so far, when the objectives are up, it really seems like the Found Vikings play their best, and Nubarak completely stuck in that lurking arm. He went in to try to get his buddy Jackstaman out, but in the process got held in that big silent zone and was caught out. But with 45 seconds on this, they probably won't have time. I don't think a Nubarak will be able to spawn and get down here in time to contest this. Found Viking is now bullying UARK off of their own siege camp, using that numbers advantage. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, look at this wave. Obviously, that has to be dealt with. UARK will rotate down, get a lot of soak out of it, alleviate some of the pressure here in the bottom lane. 10 seconds to a Nubarak has spawned. I don't think UARK is going to be able to do anything with this objective. And that is going to be back-to-back cavalry secured by the Found Vikings. So with the top lane already a little bit weak, Hyperion and Phoenix going down, really creating nice zoning tools, but a big flank from UARK, and they can catch Kael'thas here, but unfortunately the stun missed. Flailing Swipe to buy them some space, and then they burn Blaze out of the cocoon quickly. Kael'thas is running for his life. That shield bought him a lot of time, but he did a lot of damage on his way out. UARK is going very deep in a desperation team fight here to keep this game alive. They do get Stukov. Maiev falls. 2 for 1, 3 for 1. Now in favor of UARK, and ETC is in trouble, and the flank comes up big. 4 to 1 in that team fight, and now UARK is going to go into damage control mode. How many keeps are they going to lose to the cavalry? Top one, they do manage to keep it up just barely. I don't think they're going to be able to do the same with mid, and they are not. Also, bottom wave is pushing into the general as well, the core. So the defense from UARK eForce was strong. That flank was really well executed. I don't know if play can look desperate, but the aggression from UARK was noticeable, and I think they realized how much they needed that fight because they really went in, no hesitation, all or nothing, and really went in hard. And they bought themselves some more time in this game, and now they're going to do everything they can to alleviate this pressure. Meanwhile, Found Vikings, they have to know that they're here. They don't care. They are going on to bottom boss, which will push straight to core. So top boss for UARK Esports will finally take down that top keep when it gets there. UARK has to know that they're down here. They are rotating. I don't think it'll be fast enough, though. Bottom boss has secured by Found Vikings, but will UARK catch them here? They will not. So boss has traded out again. And UARK wants to make sure they're not pushing with it because they want to catch this boss out here. They don't want to let this thing march all the way to core. Put as much damage onto the boss in lane as you can. Top boss did march very quickly through that keep, which will help UARK's situation a lot. Because with two keeps down, they really got to go into lane maintenance mode. If I imagine UARK is going to clean up this mess here, maybe get their mid lane siege giants to kind of get a little counter pressure here. They will have time to contest. The objectives, the timer needed to secure them is so much longer late game than it is early, but they're not. They're going straight down here, both sides here, level 21 to level 20, same tier. And the winner, if this is a decisive team fight either way, that team will likely win the game. Found Vikings backing up. They understand they have the advantage of map pressure, and they're going to continue on to that pressure. UARK is going to step in. They check the bush. They probably know where UARK Esports or Found Vikings are, and they're trying to get the channel, but it is going to be interrupted, and Z Blaster is going to get a lot of damage. The stage dive, Maev, down. And Combustion lands on 2. He is just going straight onto that Alexstrasza. Look at Blaze just mow Alexstrasza down. And Dehaka taken down on the backside. Blaze is just walking in and totally zoning Alexstrasza out of these team fights. Basically, UARK had no healer there. Blaze was so far onto Alexstrasza. And that is going to be game 2 and the series. Going over to our number 1 seed, the Found Vikings. So well played by both sides. That was about as close as a 2-game set as you're going to see. Very competitive, very entertaining games. So there's the stats for those of you who are inclined to want to look at those things. And we're going to see if we can get Sailor Sky in here for the post-game interview, chat with our friends Found Vikings a little bit. And we do have a representative from the Found Vikings. It is Contender. How's it going, man?
It's going great.
So let's start in game 1. Both those games were pretty tight. That's about as tight as a 2-0, I think, as you're going to see. Very close in kills and structure damage at the end. Pretty back and forth, both of those games. I noted in game 1, you guys always seem to kind of get the better out of them in the objective phase, and then those guys would kind of come roaring back in those laning, kind of roaming phases in between the objectives. Was that something you guys noticed? Was there a specific reason for that, or was it just kind of how the game played out?
It's the play styles. UARK is a very aggressive team, and they thrive on map control. So they're constantly getting camps. They're constantly trying to invade things, and we were ready for this for the most part. But it is hard to switch gears and get to that. Then with the objectives, we're just so used to Volskaya that we know where to position on the objectives and how to take control of the point and push them out. It's easy to zone them out with how heavy of a front line we have and um, with just how much poke damage we can do to them before they can even get into the fight.
So shot calling, who do you guys have? One shot caller? Is it a collective? Is there one person that just yells at everybody? How do you guys do that?
So mostly it's us as a collective. We're calling out where camps are and like when they're coming up, where people are. But when it comes down to it, it's me that's making the final calls. When we first came into competitive HOTS, we sat down and said like, who wants to do this, and we all voted on someone to do it, and like it's very beneficial, even if the call is wrong, for everyone to go in on one thing, than for us all to scatter on our own calls. So we have one guy doing the final say on everything. So we'll have people throwing out suggestions like their camp's up, and then it's either invade or don't invade.
Yeah, 100% true. That's something that my team's worked on a lot too. It is always better to decisively do the wrong thing aggressively together than it is to kind of him and haw and scatter and sort of whatever. But the reason I asked was the free keep rip bottom lane first game was such a great call. Whose bright idea was that? Because that was brilliant.
That was me.
Well played, sir.
I saw they weren't there, and I was like, we have the push. Let's do it.
Nice. So game 2. Was the first objective you guys kind of conceded and pushed in the bottom lane? Was that you didn't want to fight them pre-10 with the CC that they had? Were you guys just playing for 10? Was that the idea there?
So it was a gamble. The first objective on Alterac Pass never really gets that much value. But it was a gamble of they were going to go for the objective and we could get a bottom fort which is boss lane. And we saw they were taking mid, and I was willing to concede mid for a boss lane fort, which ended up happening. But then they ended up taking top, which with the objective, since they could all push on one lane. So it kind of backfired on us a little bit, but it was a gamble that they would only get the mid fort while we were pushing bot, and then with the objective, we would be able to hold them off.
All right, so last question. You guys now are in this Division C East Finals, and you're not biased or anything, so I'm sure you'll agree with me. C East has, in my opinion, been the most fascinating competitive division to follow this season. It's been fantastic. Really, top to bottom, you guys are just killing each other. It's like any week, anybody can beat anybody. It's been really fun to watch. I've probably cast more C East than any other, simply for that reason. But tomorrow, Regen Red, Almost Legends, you guys get the winner in the C East Finals. What are your thoughts without giving away the farm?
Honestly, it's anybody's game. Like, tonight was anybody's game. But there are no seeds in C East. It's a free-for-all out here. Everyone's right at the same competitive level. And then tomorrow, it could be either one of their games. I kind of hope it's Almost Legends so that we can get our rematch. They did take us down a notch. They were the first team to take a map, and then they actually took the match later.
I know. I'm sure Regen Red's thinking the same thing, because I'm pretty sure you guys are the only team to actually take a match off them this season. They dropped games here and there, but I think you guys are the only one to actually take a match off of them.
Yeah, we faced them early, and we came out swinging, and I think it was the first match of the season, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't think they had quite found their footing yet. Yeah. Either way, it'll be fun. I mean, the last time, I'm really looking forward to their matchup tomorrow, because the first time they played, I don't know if you remembered how the set ended, but the set ended with Regen Red all dead and Lunara's poison damage killing Almost Legends core. It was that kind of set. It was really, really good. And it should be a lot of fun to watch tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll definitely be watching.
Oh, I'm sure you guys all will be.
All the games they're all fun to watch because they're all tooth and nail fights.
All right, well, that'll do it for me. Any shout-outs, parting words on your way out to go celebrate with the team?
Just shout out to the team. We've done great this season, no matter what happens on the next match. Proud of where we've gotten. So, and thanks for casting us. Always makes it more fun with an audience.
100%, my pleasure. So congratulations to the Found Vikings, #1 seed, continuing on their quest, advancing to the C East Finals versus the winner of Almost Legends and Regen Red tomorrow. Great showing from UARK as well. Really, both of those games could have gone either way with just the ball bouncing one way or the other a little differently. So really good showing all season long and tonight from UARK Esports. So that's going to do it for me. We are going to send you over to a Division... Oh, what is this? Division D West? No? D East? I should know that. Yes, a D East matchup. 2 calculated to throw versus Frankfurters, casted by the wonderful Mark Zombie. So hang out for that. And thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a wonderful evening.